Hey Tay, could you just talk about how you think the team offensively, y'all got a lot of good looks, and you specifically were involved in a lot of playmaking.
We're just trusting our coach's offense that he gave us in practice, executing the right way, and passing up good shots for great shots.
Hey, could you talk about what really worked for y'all there at the beginning of the second half? You went on a run, really opened things up. What started working for you well then?
Well, at halftime, we thought of it as a team that we could have brought more energy, and that's what we did. We came out, told each other that the first 4 minutes we're gonna go out there and play hard, and that's what we did.
It looks like you're getting really comfortable in your role. You started out at the one, you've been playing more off the off guard. Can you kind of talk about that progression for you?
Just playing the positions coach tells me to play. You know, I feel like I'm comfortable on and off the ball. I feel like I can do a lot of stuff for the team. So I'm just playing the game the right way.
Anything else for Tay?
Defensively on that fast break play, what did you see when you stole the ball, and what was just going through your mind on that play?
Well, in practice, we just go over a lot of scouting. We see that when they throw it to the top of the key, it's an ISO or a wide pin down. I read it and got it up. Got it. I should have went and dunked it, but you know, them legs get tired. Yeah.
Good now? All right.
Thank y'all.
You want to slide in? All right, we got 1,000-point scorer, LaDavius Draine.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
LaDavius, can you just kind of talk about what it means to, finally join the 1,000-point club?
It's a huge honor, man. Southern Miss means a lot to me, and to be considered with all the great players that came through, scored over 1,000, it's just a huge honor.
And on the same day, you also moved to number 2 on the all-time list for 3-point shots made. What could you say about that?
Yeah, it's a huge accomplishment. I don't really go into the games thinking about it. It's just how I'm feeling. I feel confident today in my shot after I hit the first one. I made a couple more after that. It all plays into the defense and the offensive flow of the game.
Draine, from where you were at the beginning of the season till now, how do you feel like this team is ready? What are the things you need to work on to get ready for conference play Friday after this?
We just need to come out in the first half how we come out second half sometimes. In the first half, sometimes we don't have the offensive rhythm and the flow we should. And we take a lot of bad shots in the beginning, and we let that transition to the defensive end, which we gave up a lot of offensive rebounds in the beginning of the game. And coach just emphasized that, just coming out playing hard and playing loose.
LaDavius, is the defense of the team helping you guys maybe create longer drives on offense?
Yeah, most definitely. If the other team doesn't score, that's good for us, especially when we go on offensive droughts, so maybe not hitting the shots we usually make or turning the ball over a little bit. Defense always allows us to keep ourselves in a position to stay up in the game or get into the game.
LaDavius, now that the non-conference schedule's over, obviously conference plays next. Do you feel like this team has finally found its identity with so many new faces? And if so, what is that identity?
Yeah, most definitely. Our identity is guard other teams, get them out of their comfort zones, limit their best players to under their averages, and coach always emphasizes if we get 7 kills, which is 3 stops in a row, and hold a team under 35% and out rebound them, we beat anybody in the country.
Anything else for Draine?
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Son Luke on here, and I knew that there would probably be a few questions for him, and maybe if there are any directed to him, I'll give the opening statement. If they're any directed to him, and that way Loyola can go ahead and get on the road. Is that right, David? You want me to go and make a statement?
Let's just talk about you guys first.
Okay.
And then after that, we'll do your opening statement
Okay.
on the game.
I just told him down there on the floor when I was doing my radio with John Cox, he runs a loose ball down in our corner right in front of our bench and hits a three. I could have choked him, and that put him ahead. But no, I'm real. First of all, I'll say this about Loyola. When we were able to pick that game up, we didn't want to just play anybody. We didn't want to play a weak opponent. We needed somebody to kind of get us back up to speed that was going to challenge us. And if you would have heard, of course, our practice the last couple of days, the great respect that we have for Coach Hallwell and their program. They're ranked number 9 in NAI. They're undefeated or undefeated prior to today's game. So averaging 93 a game. We're talking about a very powerful team with several players, if y'all watch the game, of course, that are Division I level players. And I thought that the first half, of course, was hard fought. We had one little spurt that was the difference at the margin in the first half. And then in the second half, I thought just, that Loyola hasn't played in a long time. And I think that began to show itself a little bit in the second half. Our depth maybe began to wear them on a little bit, and they uncharacteristically, I think, kind of turned the ball over maybe a few times that led to baskets. And I thought that was the difference in the game. And, of course, Draine got untracked there in the second half. But Luke, proud of Luke. He's loves Loyola and loves their basketball program and the school down there. And I'm proud of that school. It's very prestigious, and I'm proud of Luke being able to attend there. So it was of course, I've never had an opportunity to play against him, and he and I talked a number of times prior to the game, and of course there was a lot of attention brought to it. But I expected Luke to come out there and try to beat us, and I think he expected me to try to come beat him. And then after the game's over with, we're not that we weren't father and son then, but we loving and hugging and kissing, after the game. But for those 2 hours that we just played, or hour and a half, it was a different story. Both of us wanted to win. Y'all have
Luke, did you when you hit that three in front of your dad, did you turn around? Did you look at him? Did you want to look at him? Because I noticed Coach Ladner turned around real quick when you hit it. He looked the other way, so I was
curious.
Mr. Heath, with all my heart, I wanted to turn around and look at him, but I was thinking about coming home next time I come back up to Hattiesburg and seeing his reaction. So
he knows. I was glad he hit the shot, but he knows better than to act like that.
Yeah.
We would not tolerate that. Daddy would have come out, Heath, at that point instead of the opposing coach. He knows not to carry himself like that. But that was a nice shot.
Luke, in the first half, you guys as a team, y'all were really coming together after the Golden Eagles. Tell me a little about what the coach was telling you guys, how at least you were working together with your teammates.
That's just something we preach, at practice every day, is just, playing together, playing as a team. We're always going to be more successful moving the ball and playing fluidly with each other compared to going one-on-one and forcing a shot. So that's just part of our culture as a team. And that's what we work on in practice every day.
Overall, just what's this experience like? I think only two other coaches and sons got to play this season together. So just what was that?
Are you talking to me or Luke?
Both of us.
Both of us? Well, it's a very odd experience, to be honest with you. And it's not something that I would really, really like. And again, they kind of fit the bill of what we wanted to have coming back from our break prior to league play. We wanted a very challenging opponent. We were able to find it, and they provided the best opportunity for us to do that. And but I don't like the emotions again, because you're really trying to beat them, and it's a conflict there. You feel because I'm one of Loyola's, to be honest with you, biggest fans, of course, because of my son, and then to have to turn around and try to play them. But they were very businesslike. I think we were businesslike. Good relationship between the two teams, but I don't relish And to be honest with you, I didn't like playing against my son, which was a first time experience. And I really don't like playing against my friends either. For the same reason. It's the same kind of feeling. You can't feel good if like today, I don't feel great that we won. I wanted to win and we needed to win. But I don't feel great about it because I know I'm close with their coaching staff. A lot of their players who are friends with Luke come up and stay with us. And I just, you don't feel great about it. Mixed feelings.
Yeah, I felt the same way. You don't want to. Well, for example, I've been up here the last 3 weeks when we weren't playing games, and I'm up in the stands, cheering my dad's team on. So it's hard to cheer that team on. I'm pretty good friends with all the team here, and to go out there and then we got to play as hard as we want to. I mean, as hard as we can, and put our best effort out there to win the game. It kind of messes with you mentally, but hey, that's part of the game. We were matched up against each other, so that's what we're supposed to do.
Got to play to win. That's right.
Yeah.
Anything else for Luke? Well, they got to get on the road, Lukey. I'll just call Dad later. Okay. All right.
Thanks, Luke.
All right.
See y'all.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good one.
Okay, Lukey, I'll talk to you a little bit later. Okay.
Coach, could you kind of talk about your guys? Kind of, you're seeing your guys and your team kind of finding their role within the lineup, especially heading into conference play.
Well, I think that we've continued to show improvement. Anytime you come off of a extended layoff like we did, you're a little concerned. You kind of lose that competitive edge. And I thought that's kind of we just weren't up to speed in the first half. And I'm not taking anything away from Loyola because they've got a good team, but we were just a step slow, a step behind. It's hard to mimic games in practice. I mean, you can preach full speed and you do go full speed. It's just hard to mimic the speed of the game. But I was proud of, I thought, and we didn't change anything at halftime. That's what we talked about. We talked about just the basics. We talked about being in a stance on defense. We talked about blocking out. We talked about rebounding with two hands. We talked about getting back in our defensive transition system, our covering the basket, getting into the basketball, pressuring the basketball on the other team. That's all we talked about at half. And we didn't change anything. We didn't adjust anything. We just said we've got to just do what we do better, and it primarily centered on the defensive end. And I thought that we did. I thought those first 5 or 6 minutes of the second half, we got our hands on a lot of balls, deflected a lot of balls, stole a lot of balls, created some offense from our defense. And I thought that, of course, we were able to extend that thing out there to 30 or so at one point. But as far as roles, Glenn, I think each and every game, I mean, with so many new faces, Lord, it takes a while for the coaches to figure out who can do what. You can watch them in practice, but, until they get out there in those games and start having enough, and that was just our 7th game. We would generally have played 13 non-league games. So, and with so many faces, we needed these games. Like for instance, you just starting to see a glimpse of DeAndre Pinckney. DeAndre got hurt in the first half of the Jacksonville opener and it was out for a long time, and then just kind of getting back. They just need playing time. So anyway, that is what it is. I think it's going to be an evolving pattern, a process, I should say, throughout the year that we continue to fine-tune until we can get where we need to get. I do like our team's upside.
Coach, you went from a halftime score of 35-27 to a score with 10 minutes left, 63-38. That's I don't know if it's a telling factor of playing against Loyola or if it's a telling factor of you guys showing up on the court. What are you guys going to overview and review that on game film and try to take that around, against conference teams?
Well, of course, I thought that our defensive intensity was better. I just thought we were more active. We were just moving our feet. We were just more fundamentally sound and playing with a higher level of intensity on defense. Not that we didn't do a good job in the first half. I thought I'd given us a C in the first half. And again, haven't had the value of watching film yet. but a C in the first half. But I thought those first 10 minutes of the second half, we were guarding, we're making it tough on them to score. We were doing such a better job on the boards. I mean, Denaje Harris has another double-figure rebound game. Did a great job defensively. That's what I attribute it to. Nothing special. We just did a better job of being fundamentally sound, and we did it with more intensity.
Coach, can you talk about LaDavius hitting that 1,000-point mark and what he kind of has meant for you because he was one of the few guys left from Doc Sadler's era, being the, kind of the leader in a
Here's
sense.
what I like about LaDavius, Andrew. Here's what I like about LaDavius Draine. LaDavius Draine, and everybody knows Coach Sadler inherited a very difficult situation here, and I'm going to tell you for the record, did an incredible job in incredibly rough seas. He really did. And Coach is a friend of mine, and very few people could have done what he did, in my opinion, considering the conditions that he was having to coach under. Here's what I like about LaDavius Draine. LaDavius Draine came here when it wasn't cool to come here, and he stayed the course. And he's had people snooping around on him, and he stayed the course. Not many kids, and that's a credit to him. That's a credit to his character, his family, his high school coach in Calhoun City, Coach Coffey. Those people, they knew, and it's a credit to our fans who have embraced him. But he's a high character young man. I don't think he's ever said more than a 3 or 4 word sentence. He smiles and goes about his business every day. He's solid as a rock. Here's the deal. He doesn't run very fast. He can't jump very high, doesn't dribble it very well, doesn't pass it very well. And here he is now. He's already eclipsed 1,000 points. And so there's some value to what he did. And again, the fact that he came to Southern Miss when it wasn't cool to come to Southern Miss, it's becoming cooler and cooler now to come to Southern Miss again. In fact, had 2 of our all-time greats in here to our locker room, Gerardo Hinton and Kenny Seiler, both here today, which I want to point out those two of our former Golden Eagles, and we're proud of all of our former players and our tradition here. But LaDavius is now getting to be part of that tradition. And who knows what's going to happen, Glenn? This is a free year. And we only have 1 scholarship senior. We have 2 seniors on the team, he and Clay Witherspoon. And so, maybe LD's not done here. It'd be good to have it because he got in a groove out there, and I felt bad. I called one of our patterns for him to shoot a 3, and I look up, my son was guarding him, and I went, "Oh, this ain't gonna be good for my son." And sure enough, he knocked the bottom out of it. And but anyway, LaDavius Draine means a lot to our program.
Jay, could you talk about?
Go ahead, man.
Go ahead. Could you talk about the progression of Artur's game from year 1 to year 2?
Gosh, y'all probably seeing it too, and he's game starting to move slower. Again, you look at Artur and you kind of go back to last year, and I mean, we played so many guys that were freshmen and playing their first basketball, and he's one of them. And one thing that happens with experience is the game slows down for those players, and so it's now beginning to slow down. And I think he's been consistent and solid. And the good thing about Artur is he can play multiple positions. He's got the skill set. Now, he's not the quickest guy in the world. And again, y'all got to understand, he's playing with a dislocated kneecap that hasn't been repaired yet because of COVID. Last year, he was supposed to have that done right after the season, and they canceled it because it was deemed an elective surgery. So, you're a guy that's not quite as quick, he's actually, prior to getting hurt last year, early in the season when he got hurt, he jumps pretty good. He's a little bit quicker than he's showing. So you can, and I'm saying that because you're going to see a lot of good things from Artur in the future, but I think he's been solid as a rock, shooting the ball well, playing with confidence. He's a good passer, and he understands how to play basketball. He already understands that. He has some areas we'd like for him to get better in. Yeah, he needs to be more physical. He needs to play rebound the basketball better. And that's the part of the American game that he needs to get better at. But I can tell you this, he knows how to play, and he's really played well over the last 3 or 4 weeks. going back to the South Alabama game.
Coach, I was just going to ask your thoughts on the new conference format and kind of, the back-to-backs, one opponent a week, kind of almost like a football mindset from a game plan perspective.
Or baseball mindset. I'm going to have to call Coach Berry, and who's a good friend of mine. I'm going to have to call Coach Berry over at baseball and see what you got to do. Is there a different process? This is uncharted territory. But here's what I just told John down on the radio, Trevor. I told John, I said, John, he asked me the same exact question. And I told John, I said, John, I said, the only thing that I know to do is do what we do every time. We're going to play and prepare for the very next game. So we're going to prepare and do everything that we can for Friday night's game, which we know, again, playing a team that's coming off beating Arizona State at Arizona State, which is an incredible feat. We're going to have to do everything that we can just to be competitive in that game. And then we'll worry about Saturday after Friday night's game. I don't know any other way to do it. I will say this. I think that we've made it, and you can see, you look at last year's roster, and we would play 5 or 6 guys most of the second half of the season. We didn't have as much depth. This year, you look, and generally on a night tonight, we played every kid that was dressed, of course. But you're looking at 9 guys that played 18, 16, 15, 11, 24, 24, 22, 26, 26. So that's 9 guys that played over 50, or excuse me, 11 over 11 minutes a game, but 8 of them played over 15 minutes a game, and then a 10th player played almost 8 minutes a game. So and then we had 2 players. I know that that returning. They had a flight canceled, and this is Angel Smith and Justin Johnson. On their return back, they had a flight canceled, and that forced them to miss a required COVID test. No disciplinary action, but the rules are that they have to have 3 COVID tests in a 24, 2 of them being 24 hours apart. You can't take more than one, I should say, 24 hours apart, but 3 COVID tests the 7 days prior. So we took it the day that we left. I dismissed them for the holidays. And then when their flight got delayed and they didn't get back in time, they missed a test. So therefore weren't even allowed to even be in the bench area until they're cleared of COVID when they return. So hopefully those guys will be good to go by Wednesday.
Coach, you talked about Pinckney a little bit, saw a little bit of his outside game. Is that what you want from him, or do you want to see him kind of in the post?
I'd love to see him more.
Yeah.
I love to see him balance. One of the we talked about him early. He's got a game, and I think you just saw a snippet of that out there tonight. He's getting better and better as he gets in better condition. Like Durant, he's a tall guy that can step out and shoot it. I was glad to see him knock that 3 down. Glad to see him score there around the basket. But DeAndre's capable of scoring at the 3 levels as they talk about these days. And but I was glad to see him. He's gotten a little better and a little better every game. He's going to be fine.
Coach, if you had to lay out a couple of main areas of concern going into conference play, what would they be?
Well, I would. We have offensive lapses at times, careless with the basketball at times. We execute great at times, but we're not. I think I guess the term I'm looking for, Trevor, is consistency on offense, being more efficient on offense, and we have too many possessions where we fumble a ball or the ball's passed to a wrong side or not on target, or maybe it gets deflected and somebody's up there. Or sometimes maybe we just don't see a person that's wide open. Maybe our spacing's not good. There's so many things that we can improve on. And I say that in a positive way because they're improvable. If we were playing the best that we could possibly play, that would be a tough thing, but it's a process. And we're going to continue to work hard every single day to get better. But those are some of the things that are concerning to me as we get into league play. And again, we've got a tough draw right out of the gates with a really, really good team who's seasoned. And this is a team that a few years back hardly won a game, and they stayed with that process. And then now, so same guys are one of the better teams in the league. And I don't know who came up. It was the coaches, of course, that came up with putting them. I saw they were ranked 9th or something in the preseason poll. That couldn't be further from the truth. this is a team that will compete for, and I'm talking about UTEP, will compete for the league championship. So to answer you, Trevor, I kind of got off on a tangent. I'm sorry about that. I got a tendency to do that times. But anyway, those are some areas we've got to get more consistent offensively. And until we do that, our defense has to be perfect. Our rebounding and effort have to be perfect. We got to be tougher, meaning get loose balls and taking charges and sprinting back and talking on defense, things that tough guys do. We got to be that tough guy as we continue to improve our offense.
Coach, following your programs as I have for the last 20 years or longer, you've always had people that it was pretty easy to see who would be ball controllers, point guards, guys that were in control of the ball. On this team, yet, it seems like sometimes Tae, sometimes Jay Malone, but there's no real consistency of that yet, like you said, with the lack of consistency from what you're looking for. Do you guys have at least someone, or is that a competition happening for somebody that will be ball control?
Well, what we've done is of course, to try to get some more offense into the lineup, what we've done is move Jerron Pierre, who's really a two guard, an off guard, play in the point position. And of course, Jay Malone, who does have a lot of experience. And as we kind of start out the game, we kind of see who has the hot hand, so to speak. And that's kind of the guy that we'll go with. And you can see tonight, Jay played, right at 17 minutes. Jerron played 24. Both of them did good things at times, but again, searching for that consistency. And then Tae Hardy, Tae had another solid game for us tonight, 11 points. He has 6 assists to 1 turnover. He was just solid out there, good on defense. Tae's has shown, or to me, a little more comfortable playing in the off guard position. So certainly he would be the third guy to play the point for us. But I like what I've seen from Tae, and I like Jerron's growth as well. And then certainly, like I said, Jay Malone gives you somebody in the point guard position that is really consistent. Do we have, Hunter, some of those guys we had at St. Stanislaus, you Gabe Willis's and the J.R. Willis's, running the point, Rob Murray, so many good ones that we had come to mind, that just real true quarterback? Not yet. Not yet. I don't think we quite have that, but we've got some guys that are doing a good job, if that makes sense.
Do you think from a player's perspective, those guys are kind of comfortable with that? They going night from night, who's got the hot hand, like you said?
I'm not sure if they are or not, Trevor. I don't really kind of concern myself about that too much, but here's what we preach. We preach, do your job and be all in, be committed to winning, and let's be for the guy that's out there on the floor. And to be honest with you, Trevor, maybe I should, but I hadn't really asked them. And I'm not saying that I forced it on them, but they certainly seem good. I know this. I know that Jerron Pierre is about winning. I know that Tae Hardy, is about winning. We were talking, and Jay Malone, I think, has shown great progression and growth from this year to last year. So yes, I do think that they're fine with it, and as long as that we're successful. But again, it's not like I've asked them how they felt about it. I've just said, this is what we got to have, and this is what we're going to do. But maybe one of them will step out of the pack. And right now, Jerron Pierre, because he's just a young, fearless guy out there, and he shows some glimpses of being pretty dang good at times.
Anything else?
I want to say this, David, and you too. You guys, I appreciate y'all's patience. I know sometimes after game, y'all have to sit here and wait on me to come out there, and I have to go down there and do radio. But you guys are y'all are talking about consistent. Y'all are consistent, and you're here, and I appreciate the coverage you guys give us, and it's critical. So on behalf of myself, I appreciate y'all's support. I really do, and I know y'all you got to be balanced, and when things aren't right, you got to call it and be factual about it. But I always feel like you guys are fair and balanced. So I appreciate that.